Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at an article called Liberal Arts for the Post-Pandemic Age.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And it was written by Brian T. Edwards, who's the dean of Tulane University's School of Liberal Arts.
All right.
And we're really going to kind of dig into why a liberal arts education might be more relevant than ever before in today's world, you know, especially with all the focus on STEM fields and, you know, everyone telling you that you have to get a degree in computer science or engineering or whatever.
Right.
And it feels like the world is changing faster than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like the pandemic just, really kind of shook things up. And Dean Edwards, actually, he starts off by highlighting just how quickly the landscape is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
He mentions this study that was done in 2018 by the Institute for the Future, and they claim that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't even been invented yet.
Wow. 85%, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I know that study got people talking. I remember reading articles about it.
Yeah.
Some people called it a myth, like Forbes magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said it was a myth, and then you had other organizations like PBS presenting it as fact.
Wow. So a lot of debate surrounding that.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless of, the exact percentage, I think it's safe to say that things are changing pretty rapidly.
Oh, for sure.
And, it brings up these questions about how do you prepare for a future where the job market is just so unpredictable?
Right. You don't even know what jobs are going to be out there.
Exactly.
How do you prepare for that?
And that's actually what I thought was so interesting about Dean Edwards' argument, is that he doesn't shy away from that uncertainty.
Okay.
He actually suggests that a liberal arts education can be the thing that prepares you for that kind of unpredictable future. He claims that a liberal arts education has both this abstract value, like, developing good citizens, critical thinkers,
Right.
and tangible economic value. And that second part is what really kind of caught my attention.
Yeah, that does seem counterintuitive.
Right.
In the world that's like obsessed with technology and immediate job skills.
Yeah.
It seems like, okay, if you want to be successful, you go into some kind of technical field.
Right. You got to learn to code or something.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So how does a liberal arts degree lead to economic success?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we're going to dig into.
Okay, that's good.
So Dean Edwards, he argues that the key skills that a liberal arts education cultivates are exactly what's needed in this rapidly changing world. And he lists critical thinking, problem solving, embracing complexity and communication as being crucial for not just, navigating a career, but for life itself.
I mean, those are skills that go way beyond any specific job or industry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We're bombarded with information constantly.
All the time.
All the time. New technologies are popping up every day. We've got these big global issues like climate change that demand creative solutions.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to think critically, adapt to new situations, and communicate effectively to thrive in that kind of environment.
Yeah. It's not just about learning a bunch of facts and figures. It's about developing a way of thinking, like a mental agility that allows you to kind of tackle whatever challenges come your way.
Exactly. It's like learning how to learn, how to analyze information, how to solve problems creatively, and how to communicate your ideas in a way that persuades people.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's address the elephant in the room here.
Okay.
There's this perception that STEM degrees are the golden ticket to a high-paying job.
Right.
And liberal arts degrees are for, whatever.
Less practical.
Yeah, less practical.
Yeah.
I mean, we've even seen politicians criticize liberal arts degrees as, not being valuable in the job market.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard those arguments before, too.
So is there any truth to that? I mean, is a liberal arts education only for the wealthy or people who don't need to worry about finding a job?
That's a good question. And actually, there's a 2019 study that was published in the New York Times that looked into this. They compared the salaries of STEM graduates versus liberal arts graduates. And initially, their findings seemed to confirm that stereotype.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they found that STEM graduates in their mid-20s were earning a whopping 37% more than their liberal arts counterparts.
Wow, that's a big difference.
It is a significant difference. And, kind of seems to support that idea that if you go into STEM, you're going to make more money.
Right.
But like most things, the story doesn't end there.
Oh, there's a twist.
There is a twist.
I love a good twist.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
They found that by the time those graduates reached age 40, the liberal arts grads were actually out-earning the STEM grads.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a fascinating twist, right? It really challenges that assumption that STEM degrees are the only path to a high-paying career.
Totally.
And it raises a bunch of questions like, what's driving that shift? What's happening between those early years and mid-career that leads to this reversal?
Yeah, that salary flip is a real head scratcher. Yeah, it makes you wonder if there's something about a liberal arts education that like equips people for that long-term success,
Right.
even if it takes a bit longer to see those gains, you know?
Yeah, I think Dean Edwards suggests that, having narrow training, while it can be valuable initially, can actually become a liability in a world that's constantly changing.
Right.
Like, think about it. If your skills are hyper-focused on one specific technology, and then that technology becomes obsolete,
Yeah.
then you're kind of left scrambling to catch up.
So it's like putting all your eggs in one basket, and then all of a sudden that basket has a hole in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a liberal arts education is more about developing adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Edwards uses this analogy of a garden of forking paths.
Oh, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's like instead of preparing you for just one specific path, it gives you the tools to create your own path and to navigate, those forks in the road as things change.
Yeah, you're not training for one specific race. You're training for a lifetime of navigating obstacle courses.
I love that. I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So what are those tools, though, that he's talking about?
Well, he emphasizes things like strong writing and communication skills.
Right.
Critical thinking.
Yeah.
The ability to kind of grapple with complex ideas from history to sociology. These are transferable skills
Right.
that are crucial whether you're analyzing a historical situation or a complex social science problem.
So these aren't just job skills. These are like life skills.
Right.
It's almost like he's saying, hey, the future's going to be full of surprises,
Mm-hmm.
but here's how to not just survive, but thrive in that uncertainty.
Yeah, and he actually goes even further than that. He says, in a world that seems to be at a breaking point, what we need desperately is the next generation of young leaders.
Wow. It's a powerful statement.
It is.
And I don't think he's just talking about politicians or CEOs. He means leaders in every field.
Mm-hmm.
People who can think critically, solve problems creatively, communicate effectively to make a positive impact.
And he sees a liberal arts education as being foundational for developing those kinds of leaders.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's about cultivating that sense of responsibility, engagement, and using your knowledge and skills for good.
It's almost like a liberal arts education has always been about preparing for the unknown in a way.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's rooted in this idea of like liberating the mind, expanding horizons, questioning assumptions, exploring different perspectives,
Right.
and essentially just developing the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow throughout your life.
Which is exactly what's needed when the only constant is change.
Right, exactly.
Out of everything we've discussed so far, what's resonating with you the most?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's the emphasis on developing a specific way of thinking,
Okay.
an approach to engaging with the world that goes beyond simply acquiring knowledge. A liberal arts education is about cultivating intellectual curiosity, challenging conventional wisdom, and appreciating the interconnectedness of different fields.
So it's about seeing the bigger picture,
Yes.
recognizing patterns, connecting those dots that other people might miss.
Exactly. And in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information,
Yes.
that ability to filter, analyze, and form your own informed opinions is invaluable.
And then being able to communicate those opinions effectively.
Yes.
Engage in respectful dialogue, even when there's disagreement.
Exactly.
That's so crucial.
It is.
And that brings us back to those core skills.
Yes.
Critical thinking, problem-solving, communication.
Those are the big ones.
They're not just buzzwords, they're survival skills for the 21st century.
I agree. And Dean Edwards makes a really compelling case for why this type of education might be more relevant now than ever before.
It's not just about securing a job. It's about being prepared for a future we can't fully predict.
Right.
Equipped with the skills to not only navigate that uncertainty, but to contribute to making the world a better place.
It's a really empowering message.
It is.
He challenges us to embrace the unpredictable nature of the future and to cultivate the intellectual agility and adaptability needed to not just survive it, but to shape it.
Yeah, and I think this deep dive has really given us a lot to chew on already.
I agree.
We've challenged some common assumptions about, what makes a certain type of education valuable. And I think we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, we've explored the theoretical underpinnings of his argument,
Yeah.
but I'm curious to see how this translates into real-world success and fulfillment.
Me too. So I think for our final part, we should dive into some concrete examples of how a liberal arts education can lead to these unexpected and fulfilling career paths.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to exploring those real-world applications.
Awesome.
And in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you, dear listener.
Yes.
How do you see the value of a liberal arts education playing out in your own life and career? What skills and knowledge do you feel are most essential for navigating the challenges and opportunities of the future?
All right, so welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah, I'm excited for this last part.
Me too. And, we've been talking about why a liberal arts education might be more relevant than ever, even in this world where everyone's telling you to go into STEM fields.
Right.
We've had some really thought-provoking conversations.
We have, and I think we've uncovered some surprising insights too.
Definitely debunking some of those myths about job prospects and discovering the unexpected earning potential for liberal arts graduates later in their careers.
Yeah, that was a cool twist.
It was. And I'm curious now to see how those abstract ideas about critical thinking and adaptability actually translate into real-world success.
Okay.
Can we dive into some specific examples?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring it down to earth a little bit.
Okay.
Let's start with a field that might seem like the opposite of liberal arts.
Okay, I like where this is going.
How about technology?
Technology, okay.
Silicon Valley might not be the first place you think a philosophy major would thrive.
Right.
But think again.
Okay, so why would tech companies be interested in philosophy majors?
Well, because the tech industry is grappling with some pretty big ethical questions these days. Artificial intelligence, data privacy, the societal impact of new technologies.
Yeah, those are all big.
They're huge. And these are all areas where a background in ethics and critical thinking can be incredibly valuable.
So a philosophy major could actually have a competitive edge in Silicon Valley.
I think so.
Wow.
They bring a different perspective, a different set of questions to the table. And that can help tech companies navigate the ethical complexities of their work and maybe anticipate potential pitfalls.
Yeah, because it's not just about building the technology, it's about understanding, the implications and making sure that it's used responsibly.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the tech skills, it's about having that broader perspective, that ethical framework.
Right.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What about other fields, though? What about, healthcare?
Yeah, well, healthcare isn't just about medical knowledge anymore either.
Right.
With an aging population and, rising healthcare costs, we need professionals who can navigate those complex ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, for sure.
And communicate effectively with patients and their families.
Imagine a hospital administrator with a background in sociology.
Exactly.
They would have a deeper understanding of the social factors that can influence health outcomes.
No, they'd be better equipped to address issues of inequality, understand the needs of diverse patient populations.
Create a more equitable system.
Yeah, a more equitable and effective healthcare system.
And that could actually lead to, improved patient care.
And satisfaction, yeah.
I mean, these are really compelling examples.
I think so.
It's like having that liberal arts foundation allows you to kind of see the human side of these complex fields. Approach problems with more empathy and nuance.
What about the business world, though?
The business world.
Because isn't that all about numbers and bottom lines?
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot of emphasis on data and financial performance.
But the most successful businesses are realizing that it's also important to understand different cultures,
right?
Communicate across borders, navigate ethical and environmental challenges.
So someone with a background in history, anthropology, or even literature could actually be a valuable asset to a multinational corporation.
Absolutely. They could help bridge cultural divides, anticipate potential risks, develop more sustainable business practices.
Wow.
Yeah, a deep understanding of history and culture can be a huge asset in a globalized economy.
And these are just a few examples. I mean, it really highlights how a liberal arts education can kind of equip people with this versatile toolkit that can lead to success in so many different fields.
Yeah, it's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about developing that mental agility.
That curiosity.
Yeah.
That willingness to kind of embrace complexity.
And Dean Edwards emphasizes this point that, liberal arts education is about more than just career success.
Right.
It's about preparing for a life of meaning and purpose. Developing the capacity to learn and grow throughout your life and to contribute meaningfully to the world around you.
Yeah, he leaves us with this really powerful thought, I thought.
Yeah. What was it?
He says, it's those with a rigorous liberal arts education who will be best positioned to lead us into and through that uncertain future.
I like that.
I do too. And it's kind of a challenge to all of us to really reconsider how we value different forms of education.
Yeah.
To recognize that a liberal arts education is not a luxury, but it's an investment.
An investment in your future, in your community, and in the world that we all share.
So I think this deep dive has really, challenged some assumptions and shed light on the power of a liberal arts education.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding a job, it's about equipping yourself with the skills and the mindset to navigate this crazy world and make a real difference.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, I want to encourage all of you listening to keep exploring these ideas.
Yeah.
What skills and knowledge do you believe are essential for navigating the future? And how might a liberal arts education help you cultivate those skills?
It's a great question to think about, and we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to think differently about the power of a liberal arts education.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and keep those minds sharp.
Thanks for joining us.